You had a great morning?
Ian, you're bringing the energy.
I know. That's 3 of his questions. Well.
Done.
That's your
you
questions done for the morning.
Gary, would you like to kick us off?
Yes, why not? Thank you very much. Hello, Mikel.
Hello.
I'm afraid you've got to start with the traditional injury updates. Thomas Partey obviously trained, but didn't travel.
Yeah.
Available for the match day squad?
Let's see. We have another session today. Obviously, he's been out for many months now, and we need to really nail the timing and when he has enough in the time to compete. But I think it's very close.
Very close?
Yeah.
Same for Jesus?
Same with Gavi as well.
And Zinchenko?
He's done a few things, and Alex is not far too.
And Tomiyasu?
And Tomiyasu is still a little bit more, I think.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So 4 of them racing against time, Tomiyasu not necessarily. Great, thank you very much. So the way you've spent the last 24 or 48 hours, you stayed overnight in Porto, is that right? A relaxing morning and then a leisurely flight back. So you've had chance to reflect with the players, look into their eyes, see how they're feeling off the back of that defeat. What do you see?
Well, what I see is a team that can't wait to play Porto at home now, and with that result, obviously, we have created a fantastic Champions League night of football in front of our people and the lights, where you need to beat them to go through, and the task is very clear now.
What does it mean about getting back to the Premier League and the determination to bounce back straight away?
That's it. Porto is gone. We discussed it. We know the things that we did very well, the things that we have to improve. It tells you again about the small margins in Champions League, because we have one of the biggest chances in the 91st minute with Gavi. If he scores that goal, we are 1-0 up. It's a fantastic, mature, disciplined performance in the Champions League. You lose it in the last second, and it's something else. And that's clear, but we cannot lose sight of where we are, what we are doing, and the importance of the match tomorrow, and the full energy and focus is there.
The last time, you only lost actually once before in the Champions League this season at Lens. You came back and you beat Manchester City 3 days later.
Yeah.
Looking for similar this time?
That's the reaction that we need, and we want to create an atmosphere in the stadium from the beginning. And I ask everybody to go there tomorrow night with full energy, because the team is going to need it, and we are in a really good moment in the Premier League, and we want to continue to be there, and tomorrow's game is vital to achieve that.
Under the floodlights as well, which is unusual on a Saturday night. The atmosphere against Liverpool, for example, a bit earlier in the evening. Are you looking for that kind of atmosphere?
Always better, so we can do better, the team to play better, the crowd to be even more energetic with us in every single ball, and that's what we have to build tomorrow.
And lots of celebrations afterwards if you win.
Sorry?
Lots of celebrations afterwards if you win.
Yeah, I don't know if outside or inside the dressing room, but let's win first.
Is it unfinished business? We won't go into the nitty-gritty of the game, the point that you all feel was stolen from you at Newcastle, but is there an aspect of unfinished business with you and the players when Newcastle are concerned?
With every club, there is always a history, there is always what happened before, what is going to happen next, and we know the importance of the game, and we just focus on what we have to do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Back at the Emirates after 3 away games. I bet that feels good.
Yeah, it feels like a long time, that Liverpool game, but yeah, it's been a while, and we love playing at home, and tomorrow is a fantastic game.
What's the difference between the Arsenal that lost 1-0 at St James's Park and the Arsenal going in tomorrow's game?
Well, let's see tomorrow. Even them as well, they have changed a little bit. I think they have a few players that they might not be available. The same with us. So let's see, every game is very different, and the approach sometimes away and at home can change.
Are you expecting Newcastle to have a similar approach to Porto, maybe? And in that case, how are you going to deal with that?
I don't know, because normally they have a very different approach to game, especially when they don't have the ball. So two very different teams, I think.
Are you going to use that defeat against Porto to get an extra bit of motivation, or do you want to forget about that and think about what you've done in the Premier League in recent weeks?
What happened there in another competition is there. What you cannot deny is that what is in your tummy after a defeat, and that we have to use it in a really powerful way to be even better.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thanks, Ian.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
I'm very good, you?
Timber, are we going to see him back before the end of the season?
I really hope so. He's doing really well. He's been with some players around now on the pitch. He's gonna start to do some bits with us in the next week or so, and then we have to see how that evolves, how his confidence level, his fitness level, and hopefully the answer is yes.
Because it seems now as we come towards the real run-in, and after this weekend, you, Liverpool and City will all have played the same number of games. Your squad is in the best shape at the moment, fitness-wise. You know, there are injuries at City, more injuries at Liverpool than both. But barring Timber, it looks like within the next week or two, you could have almost a fully fit squad to choose from.
Yeah, obviously we have missed some big players, and we still are, but you have to adapt to that. Obviously, we want them back. We need them back as quick as possible, and we know the impact that those players are going to have when we have the full squad ready.
11 goals in your last 2 league games. Has that answered all the critics who were telling you during January, you've got to go and buy a striker, you've got to go and buy Ivan Toney, you've got to go and get somebody to put the ball in the back of the net?
No, I think it shows that the team has the ability to score goals and to share the goals, and that we have to do it consistently, and that's the demands at the end of the season. You're going to have to score certain amount of goals and not concede certain amount of goals in order to have the best chance to win titles, and that's undeniable.
What is it about Newcastle as well, the last sort of couple of seasons, or certainly last season, and then St James's Park earlier this season, that makes them so difficult for you to beat? Because it's looked like those games are very sort of close between the two of you.
But they are a really good team. They are very well coached. They are fantastic players. They have great spirit within the team, and they are difficult to beat for us and for many opponents.
And the last one, you've beaten City and Liverpool this season already in the Premier League. Many people would still see you as being the outsiders of the 3 to win the title. Are you in the position right now, though, that you would love to be in?
Well, I think we are in a really good position, and we are where we want to be. I don't know, we can be better. As I said before, I think the most important thing is that we continue to believe, to perform at the level that we are doing, and we have the squad available. And if we have those 2 things, we're going to give them a real go.
Simon.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
We spoke to Declan after the game on Wednesday, and he was talking a bit about this team sort of learning some sort of savviness and, you know, the element of the dark arts that you get in the game. Is that something you feel the team needs to maybe develop as they sort of mature as players, that sort of bit of edge?
Yes, we certainly can develop a lot of things, and those experiences are really relevant to judge whether we were or we weren't just because a goal. I don't think is that fair, and I was very clear with them about it, because I believe that they did a lot of things right, but yeah, and managing games and things like that, we can still improve. But in a year's time, for sure, we can improve, and we can improve in our build-up phase, and we can improve in our restarts, and we can improve in many areas.
I think when a lot of people speak to these Arsenal players and know these Arsenal players, I think everyone would say they're obviously very nice people. Can you have that off the pitch, and then when you go on the pitch, flick that switch and have that edge, have that bit of a dark arts? Can you be a nice guy and be a bad guy on the pitch?
Yeah, I don't know if the bad guy, but you have to be tricky, you have to be smart, you have to be streetwise, and you have to try to take advantages in every situation, and they know that.
And is that something you sort of coach on the pitch, off the pitch? How do you develop that in a player?
That's a thing that has to be developed if you don't have it, that's for sure, because the best teams, the best players, they have that.
It's Mark.
Hi, Mikel. It's nearly 4 months now since what happened at Newcastle. Obviously, your response afterwards and the club statement and everything. Since then, do you think you've seen a noticeable improvement in officiating the VAR?
Well, that's what we all wanted, that at the end the decisions are better. I think the last stats that came across showed that it was a significant improvement, and a lot of decisions were getting right. So hopefully that's the case, and we continue to do that.
Your response at the time was criticised by some, but do you feel you being able to talk about it and bringing it up like that has helped that whole conversation around it?
I don't know. I talked the way I felt, and I was very straight. And I did it in a way that it was pretty strong, but within the law, because I didn't get charged for that. So that says the story.
Claire.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
On Wednesday, it was obviously quite a stop-start game. There was lots of fouls. I think the ball was in play for about 50%. Quite similar to the home game against Newcastle. last year, you said that your team can learn to do better and will learn from those situations. What do you think they can learn between Wednesday and potentially a similar test on Saturday?
Well, we have to learn, but as well we need the game to be managed in the right way, and that's not for us to do, and that's for the referees to do, and we leave it for them because it's obvious again what happened on Wednesday, and we have to deal with that, and we have to be ready for that. But at the end, it's their job, and they have to manage that.
And before the Nottingham Forest game, you spoke, obviously, last season there was the desire for revenge. You said everyone could feel it in their stomachs going into the game. Have you sensed a similar atmosphere amongst your players this time going to the Newcastle match?
Well, I could sense in the dressing room straight away that we wanted to play the next day if possible, and after that defeat, that's the feeling that you get. And I'm sure when they come back in an hour or two, I'm going to be seeing that desire again.
Thanks. Jordan.
Mikel,
Hi.
13 games to go this season. This stage last season was the Bournemouth game, that dramatic 3-2 win, where it felt like there was a lot of emotional energy being spent already. How much is left in the tank at this stage?
A lot, because I think a lot of players they haven't played significant minutes this season, and some important players as well. So I can sense that there are still 5 or 6 that they have still a lot to effort to the team, and the other ones because after what happened last year, we want to make sure that this season is very different, and that brings a lot of energy because we know what we are facing.
Obviously, Porto, you brought in one sub. There's maybe talk of not using the bench as much as other teams. Because you've got 5 or 6 players there, do you think that it's maybe their time to step up at some point in the next 2 months? There'll be a part-time at play.
Yeah, but we have made changes in the last few games, and every game is different in relation to what is happening, and rightly or wrongly, which at the end are decided those decisions by the results at the end. We try to make the right call. That's it.
Finally, how different does it feel approaching the run into that compared to last season? It feels like after that Bournemouth game, it felt like towards the end it felt like Arsenal were there. It was theirs to win. Does it feel slightly different this time because there's 3 teams competing and you're on the shoulder rather than leading?
I feel a lot of excitement, especially internally, because we are right in the mix, and we want to continue to be there because we are in the Champions League and we have a fantastic game to play at the Emirates. And yeah, externally probably it's different because the expectations are much more focused in the other 2 teams, and that's it.
Thank you. 10:30 section site.
What you said, post-match and also the club statement, but similar point to Mark really, would you have done, looking back, would you do anything differently now? Do when you consider what was said about what you said,
Yeah.
Do you learn lessons from that, or would you approach it completely the same or differently?
I don't know, because what is the lesson? You have to say what other wants to hear, or saying that helped. It might did, it might not. But that's me, and I said what I felt in the moment and how I felt it. And you get criticized by being honest, and many other people, they fully agree with that. So you know that when you talk publicly, you're not going to please everybody. I was very pleased at the end that I felt that it was an understanding, because at the end we are in front of the mic straight away and we have to respond to those questions. And people, I think, expect to hear our answers in an honest and a straight way. And this is what I did. Is there a better way to do it? It might be, I don't know, but the lesson is if you say what you believe in the right way, respectfully, do it. But I don't know what I would do in the next time.
When you say that's me, you're someone that's very, very passionate, aren't you? And there's someone that really wears your heart on your sleeve, as they say. And I mean, I can't imagine that you'd be able to change that.
I don't know, but especially because as well I have a duty to defend our players, to defend our club, and to raise our voices. And when something you don't feel that is right, we have to say it. And as well because I said that privately and in front of everybody's face. It's not something that I did publicly when I haven't done it before. So the order was right. I did it internally, I did it in front of them, face to face, and then I did it publicly. So, and then I have to justify myself, and that's it. So It was a good experience as a coach.
Yeah,
I have to tell you
It was a big
to go through that.
It was a big experience of how it works and how the sort of kind of the media works and how you're in front of the TV cameras. But I guess it's important to sort of say, isn't it, that basically you did go up in front of the TV cameras, having, as you said, you know, kind of established that you were within the club's boundaries to be able to do so with their full support.
Yeah, and I was lucky as well. I'm very lucky because I have a club that give us and give me in that occasion a lot of support.
Thanks, John.
Hi.
Newcastle can be a bit like Porto. They can try and get under your skin, win fouls, try and influence referees. In these sorts of games, do you feel you have to change the way you play, change the way you approach, or is it just we're going to play our way regardless of what they try to do to influence the game?
We always have to. There is a percentage in every game plan, in the behaviors that or the way you want to play a game, that you have to understand the context of the game and you have to slightly adapt to certain qualities or behaviors of the opponents, and it's no different against Newcastle.
And are you any tempted to fight fire with fire if you come up against a team that likes to do that, get under your skin? Do you want to encourage your players to, give some back rather than trying to just tell them to keep your emotions in check, actually let them free?
I think you have to control your emotions, that's for sure, because if not, you get dragged into a game that is going to take you away from what we want. But certainly, I've seen my team face very difficult opponents, very difficult situations, face to face, and we're not going to get away from that.
Yeah, but you think they're mature enough to do that, to see what another team does and not get distracted by it?
Yeah, but I don't know what mature is. Is that at the end using that in the right way and being intelligent to at the end get what you want. That's it.
Thanks, Sam.
Are your players mean and nasty?
Nasty. I don't know. Well, they are incredible players, that's for sure. And I think this team has got enough intelligence and enough experience to deal with many situations now.
I think, as Simon said, people might look at the team and think, oh, they're nice guys. They seem friendly, very polite. You could take them home to dinner and everyone will be happy. But do you want them to have that kind of...
Yeah, but when we play Liverpool at home or Man City after, you guys said it's incredible how they compete, how they go, how aggressive they are, this and that. And yeah, I don't know.
And just on Gabby Jesus, what's the... Because obviously when he missed the game after Forest, it was a few days and it's been a bit longer. And obviously this knee thing's been going on for some time. What's happening?
That's it, that we couldn't resolve that as quickly as we wanted, and he had a small reaction in training again, and we didn't want to take any more risk because he's been out for quite a while, and he's a player that we need at his best, and we decided to give him a few more days.
So it's all still quite minor, but
Yeah.
it's all linked to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Nick.
I guess Newcastle have been similar to you guys in one way, in that they were back in the Champions League this year after quite a long way out. Obviously, they didn't make it through the group, and they've been good in the league, but haven't quite been top four. Does that kind of show just how difficult it is to come back and have that relentless routine of Europe, elite level, Premier League, Wednesday to Sunday, Wednesday to Saturday?
Yeah, it's a great point. Obviously, the demands are very different, and the league level again this season has a step up, and we have managed to make that a step again and be very, very competitive. I've been at the top, and in Europe after 7 years, go through the group stages and still being competing there. The thing is that the fact and the reality is that we want more and better always, and we are trying to do that.
I know this sort of comes up every season, but are you okay with the turnaround Wednesday to Saturday? Would it be better?
I would prefer to play Sunday or Monday, 100%, especially when you play away in Europe. But we know that that's not in our hands.
Would you still push for things to be different?
We already discussed that many times. At least we are not playing the 12:30 kickoffs that we used to do before. So there is some improvement. I think we can still do a bit more for our players.
Thanks, Sam.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Before the 6-0 win over West Ham, you've been beaten by the Hammers twice this season. In some ways, you're trying to do a similar job against Newcastle. How obviously they won 1-0 they won obviously last year, and there's an element of revenge and doing a job on them this time.
Again, as I said, there is a a story always there linked to the team that you are facing, and we have beat them twice. You know that they're gonna try to beat you in the third time, and you have to have another kind of preparation, sometimes mentally as well. But it's clear, and especially after what happened in Porto, and the desire of the players to make a statement now.
And from that game against Newcastle, what did you learn from your players? Because players like Kai Havertz, for example, he showed a lot of passion, emotion. I think you credited him soon after that game with the fight he showed. What did you learn from players like that in that game?
Yeah, it was a really competitive match, and I think the team performed really well. Obviously, the result shows something different, in my opinion, to what we deserved, and that's a learning as well. But the margins against them in recent games, they've been very small.
With Arsenal nearly having their full squad back in the next coming weeks, in some ways, do you think it's premature for people to say that Arsenal are third in this title race? With obviously the players coming back, are you more than just a third runner in this race?
I don't know. We are there. We want to be there, and we want to be first. That's for sure.
Thank you. Finally, John.
Mikel, you mentioned earlier that the best teams have got to be tricky, smart and streetwise, but that has to be developed. Could you give us an outline of how a coach develops that? How do you do that?
There are ways to do it.
Is it on the training ground, or you're sitting down and...
Yes, it's the way you talk to them, showing them clips, training, putting them through scenarios, pinching them as well a few times, learning from other players that they do it really well, other teams that they are masters of doing that. There are ways to do it.
Can you say which coaches you've played under?
No, because you're going to use it in the wrong way.
But you say it's important, though.
Well, it's very important. That's a way of competing for a team, you know, and you can tell in the best players in the world, they have this ability to always take the advantage, always.
When you're in recruitment, is that something you think about?
Yeah, overall, when you build a squad, you need that, certainly. And but it comes someday. It comes from the culture of the club. You see that there are clubs that they have that in the DNA. It's not something that you directly link to Arsenal, that's for sure. But it's something that has to be developed.
That's something that's been lacking then?
Sorry?
That's something that has been lacking.
We had many other things. Like other clubs, they don't have a lot of things that we do. So you want to have the best of the best, and that's the aim.